All right. It's fine. It's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. It's fine. We'll just wait for Polly to get here. I want everyone to know I am 2 beers in. I was out with some friendos earlier tonight to celebrate a band concert. So I'm already pretty tipsy, and I don't plan on getting any more tipsier. So I guess I'll just sober up a little bit as we progress throughout the evening. Welcome to Cocktail Hour, everybody. I hope you have had a good time, and I'm about to add Polly to the stream. So say hello, everyone. Hi, Polly.
Hello.
Hello. We're already live, by the way.
Well, I'm dead on time. I don't know what you're doing starting early.
It is 8:04. I just started the stream. We are 4 minutes late, Polly. We owe it to our audience to be on time. Come on.
My computer right here says 8:00.
Are you on Easter Island time again?
I am.
That's why. Anyway, so Polly, how are you? How are you feeling? Are you better?
I am feeling better. I am honestly saddened at how long it's taking my knee to swell down. But
oh, you poor baby.
Yeah, I know.
It's okay. I believe in you. I think that with some ice, some tender love and care, and keeping yourself off of your knee, you probably are going to be just fine.
Well, I'm a stubborn ass, and I have places to go and people to see, so I'm walking around on my knee too much. I think I need to add a stylish cane to my wardrobe. And
you know what? Oh my gosh, yes, Polly, I have so many ideas for this. And okay. If Far is in the chat, she can totally, because she does all of your art, right?
The vast majority of it, yes, okay. She does.
Yeah. So, Far, I have some ideas for you. Take note, jot these down. This is important. Polly with a cane, but like it's one of those detachable screw canes that has like the knife hidden inside of the rest of the cane attached to the hand thingy, the grip. There we go, the grip.
Well, it's funny you mention that. I may have, or just did, already identify the sword cane that I want. It's on coldsteel.com. Two of the knives I have are from Cold Steel, and that company also makes a number of different sword canes. They have ones with like wooden handle tops and then old school whatever. But the point is they lock into, yes, unleash a full, 24-inch double-sided sword. And I'm like, hell yeah. This is very Victorian. I'm loving this.
You're speaking my language. Did you know that I had a passion for sharp, pointy objects?
Really? Or
No, I'm not even kidding. I do. Like, okay, this is going to be funny, but it's totally 100% true. As a woman, do you know where they keep most of the sharp and pointy objects in the house?
In the kitchen?
In the kitchen, exactly. So it's only natural that I would feel such an inclination towards sharp and pointy objects. Duh. All right, joking aside, I have a sword cane that is a dragon attached to like a thing. I have, throwing knives up the wazoo, like a 24 set, and then
I remember kidding around. We should talk knives. I'm a big fan of
knives.
I am a big fan of knives. I have a number of them myself, and then of course pine after more because that's how you roll when you like knives.
Yeah, no, I wasn't shitting you. I am a big fan of knives. How did you not know this? Like, this is kind of, I've used knives as props in my videos. Okay, you know what actually makes sense? Because I'm not technically allowed to have a lot of the knives that I have at school.
What are the campus policies?
It has to be underneath. It has to be like within 6 inches from the hilt. So okay. Kitchen knives are fine, but most of my knives are a little bit bigger than that. And they're just like, when I go home next week, I will show them to you. I'll just give you a whole collection, and we can walk through all of my knives. Because I have practice throwing knives.
We'll set that up for next week. We'll do a knife share. That's cool.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we are talking knives next week. So bring your bayonet. Oh my God, that's funny because I actually do have a sword attached to a pistol. I'll show it to you when I get it.
You actually have a pistol bayonet?
Yeah.
Awesome.
It was from my dad. He gave it to me, and I'm very happy about that. It's not sharp or anything. It's just for decoration at this point because it's basically useless. Gun doesn't shoot, most likely. The knife, it stabs, but it'll take a hefty thrust to actually make an impact. But it's probably one of my favorite things that I own.
Oh, so So we're going to do a share on not just knives, but all like sharpened metal implements.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
All right, so we have next week's show planned out.
Because I have a katana and a naginata and a yari and a.
I'm very excited about this.
I studied Japanese martial arts, specifically ninjutsu, for 4.5 years. So
you studied martial arts?
I did.
Dude, I'm a black belt in Taekwondo.
Nice.
And a blue belt in Hapkido. This is a natural.
I studied Hapkido for a while as well.
Yeah.
That was my beginning in martial arts, was Hapkido.
Yeah. Did they start you off with the falls first? Like.
Oh, of course. Yeah. The belly flop that they pretended was a belly flop, where you slap your arms and forearms down to the ground. Yes. Yeah.
Well, actually, they had us do it on the back. So basically, the way that you would roll into the fall until you hit the actual ground, and then you just slap the ground. And that was the most impactful thing of that actual falling experience. And then they'd have you fall on your face, but you'd have to like brace yourself with your two arms out in front of you.
Of course. Yeah. And then when I got into ninjutsu, it was like that muscle memory and trained reactions to things, right? You're used to like falling, and when you fall to the side and you slap down to the ground.
Yeah.
And, where in ninjutsu, it's like, no, fall on like the meat of your leg, like the side of like your butt, and all the way down your leg, and then roll out of it. It was much more.
It was involved.
It was much more involved, but it was much more. Hapkido is very, very solid, very regimented, very. In ninjutsu, it's much more feminine. It's much more supple. It's about feline action as opposed to like it felt much more robotic inside of Hapkido by comparison. But anyway,
I don't know how much you know about Hapkido as opposed to ninjutsu, but the way that I was informed about Hapkido is that it's a sword-based martial art. So every movement that you are performing is based off of the presupposition that your opponent is wielding a sword. So a lot of the moves are inspired by the ways that you would wield a sword, or that you would handle an opponent who is wielding a sword against you. That's not necessarily that you're both wielding swords, but like the movements are more circular than say in Taekwondo, but they are very regimented from what I remember. And this is like 3.5 years ago that I last practiced, because they don't have a dojo in the middle of nowhere, Indiana. That I don't go to every week. No, they don't. Surprise. I know, right?
Oh, I finally got around to bringing up chat here, and Mustafa asked if I have a Kusari Gama. Yes. Although it's probably the weakest of the ninja weapons, such a corny way of describing it, that I have. Like, Kusari Gama, it's like weeds. It's like a small sickle, basically, with an attached chain or cord with a weight at the end. So the idea is you can entrap your opponent and pull him in and motherfucker.
Yeah. That looks like what you would use to tend the fields, honestly.
Well,
it probably was at one point, or a derivative of that.
It is like all of the lore associated with ninja and shinobi and other, and there's all this lore, and it's tough to. A lot of it's really tough to historically verify, but it's like whatever. Like a naginata is so much like a scythe, and Kusari Gama is so much like a field tending instrument. Even the 4-pointed shuriken with the square hole in the middle, it's a knife pulling instrument. A nail pulling instrument. You use the sharp edges to pick out the head of the nail, and then the square is to pry it the rest of the way out. Yeah. This, was it actually? I don't know. This is the lore that ends up being associated with it. It's like, why did ninja have straight swords? Because they couldn't afford the fancy, really curved ones from a master swordsmith. So they were flat, sharpened pieces of steel, because that's as good as it gets. Well,
I always like to say this, and I'm pretty sure someone in the chat have heard me talk about it, but a knife on its own has 101 uses, probably like 1,001 uses or whatever, and only like maybe 2 of those is like stabbing and maiming your opponent. The rest it's a tool. It is a tool.
Thank you.
The basic impetus for a sharp and pointy object is that it is used for something that is not to kill another person. Like this pair of scissors, right? right here that I have.
Right.
Its primary use is to cut paper in half. I might be able to use it as a pair of like pliers, tweezers. Maybe if I wanted to, I could split wires with it. You know, there are like a million things that I could do with this pair of scissors. One of them, sure, is stab some fucker in the neck. Why not? But that's not their primary use. And, you know, thinking about the ways that people have interpreted sharp and pointy object use now as opposed to back in the day, right? Like the UK and their hatred of spoons. Have you seen those?
The UK and their hatred of
spoons.
Oh, spoons. Yes, I have.
Yes. Okay. So where they confiscated a whole bunch of spoons, amongst other cooking implementations, because that's another use that sharp and pointy objects have is cutting up meat, right? So yes, it's a cousin of the stabbing and shanking, but it's it's for meat preparation. Probably. But a spoon was included in a raid of, I can't remember what it was specifically, but it was a raid of a place where they confiscated a whole bunch of weapons, and there was a spoon there, and I'm just like,
yeah, I know.
It's become
to justify it. All what kills me is that I've seen like a number of programs where they talk about stuff like that, and have shown the table full of confiscated items, right?
Oh, yeah.
And amongst them are like improvised weapons. Like, don't stab somebody with a spoon. You do what a prisoner would do, meaning somebody who's in need of an improvised weapon, at least from their perspective, right? You turn it around and wrap a bunch of tape around the handle, like the spoon side, and then because there's your big bulky ball end to hold on to, and then you sharpen the end of it that's already close to being sharpened, and there's your shiv. And it's like I saw something like that, one of those that I just described, sitting on a table, and it's like they improvised a stabbing instrument out of a spoon. Yeah, that's probably what I would have done. It's stainless steel. It's a good metal to do that with. You are never going to stop human beings from improvising tools. We've been doing it since the plains of Africa. I mean, one thing I got to say is I love somebody that can shit post in multiple directions. Race Jacobson says, a Futanari what? and then later on goes full, well, actually, and says, that doesn't sound historically accurate. Watch this if you want to see ninja myths debunked. I mean, you shit posted in two wildly different directions. I can appreciate that. No, but that's why I said myths. Because these are the stories that float around it. I don't know if you guys ever like bothered. Like the most well-known ninjutsu out there is the Hatsumiha, like from that particular school that came down. And one of the complaints that the guys from that school, particularly Hatsumi, the head of it, always had is that Westerners are so interested in the details of history. And so there's books written and websites where they're talking about this is a trash thing. It doesn't go back like 500 years like they claim to the periods that they claim that it goes back to the Togakure Ryu. That's not a real thing. It's made up. It existed only since the 1900. There are no real ninja anymore. And we talked about all this stuff at the school in endless detail. It's like, frankly, after a while it got boring. And I don't know. The weaponry is of limited use unless you're talking about really like weebs, like quail's eggs that have been hollowed out and filled with blinding powder. Like we're talking some ninja movie badass shit, you know what I mean? Like smoke bombs and blinding agents and so on and so forth. Like it pyrotechnics of all sorts. And it's like
really, Polly, you make a very excellent point, right? It's not that hard to come up with some sort of weapon implementation if you really want to hurt somebody desperately. Mm-hmm. It's not. It just takes a little bit of creativity and maybe some willpower, or just the will to actually perform that act of violence. Like when I was 12, I think I learned how to make a shiv out of a bag of Fritos, a battery, a gum wrapper, and literally anything plastic, because all you have to do is melt it down into an appropriate shape and then you have a shiv. right? And you make the fire out of the Frito oil and lighting the gum wrapper on fire by sticking the metal gum wrapper to both ends of the battery. There you go. I just taught you how to make a ship in 5 seconds.
You know what? Okay, just quick little aside.
Yeah.
There was a time when, excuse me, cable TV was, and I mean the weirdo, excuse me, like 400 plus number channels, like where they were trying everything on cable, were really into their prison programs. Let's go documentarily record inside of prisons forever in a day, and then produce them up. And so, you'd get into like prison politics and the details of it and what the shoes like the 23-hour lockdown and so forth. And forever you would always hear prison guards saying the same things. And no offense to that side of prison administration, but they don't strike me as terribly institutionally, they don't strike me as a terribly bright group. And I'll tell you why. Because they were forever saying things that were like, you didn't think that would be possible. You were surprised by that. The ingenuity in weapons design and production, the ingenuity in escape attempts, in sending messages to each other and so forth. It's all very interesting, I guess. And I'm not saying that there wasn't an incredible amount of ingenuity display, but they'll say, oh, so this guy, we never saw this coming. He sat there and do this because remember, and it's like they all traded notes on this one saying, they got nothing to do but sit in there and think about these things all day long. And I'm like, you keep saying they as if they are on the other side of some particular line. Buddy, if you were locked up in a room all day long, you would start coming up with things to do too. It's not like you can shut off thinking. Your mind will still keep working.
And once it goes down a particular thought, you just keep going and you can't lock it up.
It's like I need to do this, and I have the availability to me, and humans are adaptable, extremely so to a degree, but still extremely adaptable. I found it funny that the prison guards and administrators would always be displaying this surprise. I can't believe they did this. What did you think they were going to do? Just when the guy's on 23.5-hour lockdown, do you think he just goes into the room and sits down and shuts off as if
stops existing?
Yeah, as if you were Lieutenant Commander Data, he just hits his off switch until you come back in. It's like I don't know. It always blew me away when you're talking about like the ingenuity. They're completely surrounded by metal. They're going to find a way to break some of that metal off, file some of it away, get some of it out of there such that they can make a weapon out of it. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. And there's like, I can't believe he cut a piece of metal out of his bed frame. Why wouldn't you believe that? Anyway.
Well, actually, it's funny that you make it doesn't actually have to be breaking off pieces of metal off of their prisons. It can also be in the case of Conspiracy, Occult, Illuminati, and NWO Media Review, their own shit, because I actually have heard stories about that, people using their own fecal matter as a weapon of mass destruction, which it totally can be if you use it correctly. But
I heard the guy gassing someone at certain prisons, they call it, they'll defecate and urinate into a container and then let it stew for weeks, and then when you hit someone with that,
dude, if you're in prison and you have literally nothing else going for you, of course that's going to be the case. Like,
I'm just surprised. Do you see what I mean? I'm just surprised at their surprise of like, why aren't you guys talking along the lines of expect the unexpected? And it's like, well, what does that mean? It means when whatever they've come up with comes out, you're not going to be ready for it. And you're not going to have thought of it because you weren't the one in the box thinking, unless you spent the 23.5 hours inside of that box for weeks and months and years on end. If you did, you'd come up with a lot of the same ideas that they did, but you didn't. So you're never going to see it coming. So that means that we have to approach it in that way. Whatever's going to get us, it has to be a broad-based approach because there's no way we can particularly approach them.
You have to just put those people's hands in little tiny bags and just lock them in that, and so that they can't use their opposable thumbs, because otherwise they're going to find a way. I literally have a whole ass piece of flint in my room that could be used as a dangerous weapon, and that is something that you find outside in the ground and that you just use antler billets to create, or a hard rock. All right, it's not that hard to come up with a weapon. in any capacity. It's just, like I said, it takes a little bit of creativity. And people are perfectly willing and able to do that in any capacity, from the far reaches of the Mesolithic era all the way up until modern contemporary human. Yeah, we might have evolved a little bit, but we still have that like sense of, I can make this into a tool if I desperately try.
Yeah. Or just put your mind to it, and if you've got a lot of time. I'm amazed at the things that I've like when I think about all like the little crafts and detailed stuff that I get into. It's just a question of focus, time, and elbow grease. And it's amazing the things that you can produce. You know what I mean? Not in terms of weaponry, just in terms of like crafts and stuff. Other people will look at and go, how the hell did you make that? Time and focus and elbow grease is the answer. Hey, your boy Pat's in chat. What it do? It do what it do.
It do what it do. I haven't really been paying that much attention to chat, but hi chat, hi Lion Patriot, hi Ryan Waters, Race Jacobson, Charlie Harris, all of the people, your boy Pat, of course, Lambie. I see you, I read you, and you know, if you add us and you have a question for us, definitely we will make an effort to address it. Also, note, Holly's links are in the description, as well as the Discord, as well as all of my links, if you so feel inclined to pursue that avenue of support by liking, sharing, subscribing, following. I know, Polly, you don't use Twitter that much, do you? But it's still there, I'm pretty sure.
I'm on there. I just don't. And Eve's in chat. Don't forget Eve.
And Eve is in chat. I'm sorry, I could never forget Eve. Eve is unforgettable.
We could never forget Eve. I'm on Twitter and I read people's tweets and stuff, but I can't do the "you said angry" thing. Now I respond with thing.
Yeah. I haven't been doing that for a while, and I feel a little bit sad because, oh yeah, no, your Twitter isn't in the chat. I'll put it there later because I know you don't use it that much. But your Streamlabs is, and so is mine. So if you guys would like to donate to either of our lovely hosts, you may do so at your leisure. Anyway, I haven't been getting into as many disagreements with people on Twitter as I would love to, mainly because I don't have a lot of time. And I feel like there's something missing from my life. So, Polly, I don't understand how you, with your infinite free time, so it seems, or just insomnia, don't get into frivolous arguments with people on the Twitterverse. But I guess maybe that's a difference in our mentality. I take from the school of Ranting Monkey a little bit more so than anyone else in that regard. So, I don't know. Maybe we're just fundamentally that different. And thank you to Charlie Harris for the $4.99 on the Streamlabs. Prisoners know that the guards have total power over them. All they can hope for is to get one over on them, no matter how trivial. Looking good, Weebo, winky face. Thank you. I try. Sorry, Pat. Polly, you were going to say?
You succeed. Okay, hold on, just opening a window here. And boom, there we go. Okay. I don't know. Infinite time. It's amazing how much. I was talking about this with a few people, like over in Discord, Eve among them. I worry about getting into video games. It concerns me because I see how interesting they are to the people that I talk to, and how into that they get. And they talk about the number of hours in that they have on a game and grinding it out. And I grinded it out on like RPG style games back in the day, but none of the new school games I've ever gotten into. And I think about getting into them because certain games, especially Red Dead, really, because I'm really big into Westerns and it just looks so cool. And I've watched people's Let's Plays with them. And I'm like, oh man, I could get into this. And I worry about that time bandit, if you will, of sucking away my time. Because like, think about it. If I'm not on Twitter and I'm not playing games, and it's like, do you have any idea how many hours a day that ends up being? That's why I have so many crafts and hobbies, and as well as having PhD studies and research contracts, I still have time to fuck around in Photoshop for 2 or 3 hours on a single picture because no video games.
How long do you think that it takes to respond to some idiot on Twitter with a witty comment that just owns them into oblivion? Honestly.
Well, first of all, I think how well you can own somebody on Twitter is, no offense, but I think it's kind of a fantasy because I did battle with some people through some sock accounts, specifically theists, the anti-theist type of the atheists.
Like the militant atheists.
Yes, like the people that the people that their handle was named to that extent, like their bio said it. Former evangelical, it's always the formers. It's
Former
like
evangelical. Well,
the old trope of people pointing out the people that are the most virulent anti-smokers were the people who once smoked, that kind of thing. You know what I mean? I was raised in this, and this became what I understood as angry ex-girlfriend atheism. I left that. I totally moved beyond him. He was terrible and horrible to me, and I don't think about him anymore. But I will tell every single person I encounter who will listen to me how awful he is.
Oh my gosh. Yes. That's a very apt comparison. Sorry, continue.
And it's like I will be up on Facebook following him around to see what he's doing. I've totally moved beyond him, but I think about him all the time. Did something happen suddenly off to your left?
I think Balik just got home from work, but that can't be the truth. He started working at maybe he did get home from work. He's a Latin tutor, guys. That's how much of a nerd he is.
He's on Latin Twitter? Is that what you just said?
He's a Latin tutor.
Oh, a Latin tutor.
Yeah. Okay. You're all computery. What's wrong with your voice?
I don't know. Am I still computery?
Yeah. I think it might be your connection. And we finally got him to shut up, ladies and gentlemen. Just kidding.
Yeah.
All right, you're better.
All right.
Balik can invoke ancient magic. Yeah, Polly, I should warn you. At some point in your life, you're going to come across my housemate. His name is Balik, and yes, you've heard of Balik. His reputation precedes him. He might at one point end up interrupting the stream just because that's his favorite pastime, I guess, outside of playing video games.
Well, Ryan Walters makes an excellent point. Donate to Polly so he can upgrade his potato to a rutabaga.
Is that an upgrade, or is that
It would be transition? For me. And then Pat says, Polly's computerized. When people say that, I don't know what it sounds like. I'd have to hear a recording of it come back. I have several audio problems. That particular one is caused by the USB plug is janky, like the particular one I use for my Blue Yeti microphone. So unplugging it, plugging it back in, it's loose in there. I don't know if it's the connection. Yes, I've tried cleaning it out with isopropyl alcohol very nicely. What's that?
It's the cord that connects, the USB cord that connects to the Blue Yeti, right?
Yes.
Is that one? You might just need a new cord.
No, it's not the cord. It's not the cord because I tested on another computer. Is it
the Yeti?
No, I said it's the janky ass USB socket in the laptop itself.
Well, Polly, we might just need to get a whole new computer.
Well, we do, and that's part of my ongoing Streamlabs thing. Is that's what I'm going to use Streamlabs for, is buying a upgraded computer.
To Polly, so we can get a rutabaga instead of a potato.
You want to know what I'm looking forward to the most?
What?
Well, it's in the top 3 at least. USB 3 ports. Oh baby.
See, when I was looking forward to upgrades, I was looking forward to having, enough RAM, but I guess that works too.
Oh, I want RAM like a motherfucker. I want so much RAM. I want to be able to open my my task manager and look at it and see that, oh, you've got Discord open and your browser with 15 different tabs and another instance of your browser just for chat, and you've also got OBS open and you're streaming, and it's only like 15% of your CPU being used. Oh, I want to see that so bad.
Ooh.
I'm up there in the mid 80s to mid 90s, like in terms of percent. Like when I'm streaming, when I'm doing content curation, it's 80 or 90% of my CPU with all of those apps I just described open at the same time.
Wait, so your video rendering, it must take you like ages, right?
I don't want to talk about it.
You don't want to talk about it? Is that traumatizing for you?
Well, you know what I end up doing most of the time when I'm going to render something? I have 2 laptops. I have this one I call my i3 because it's got an i3 processor in it, and then there's my school computer that I call an i7 for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
I have Vegas Pro, which is what I do my audio video editing on, and I've got it installed on both computers. I take a jump drive that I have a 64 gigabyte flash drive and just move it over to my i7 laptop and let it do its thing off to the side while I'm continuing to fuck around on this, my main computer, because it runs it a lot faster. So I don't know, rendering times actually aren't that bad because I do it on a separate computer that I only do that on it.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, because I just upgraded my portable system, right? Because my old system, the MacBook, it died, and it was a very sad occasion. It was very emotional for me. We're not going to talk about it a lot. It's fine. Don't worry about it. But I started out with the video editing on iMovie on that computer, and then I graduated to Premiere, right? Because I'm an Adobe fangirl because
Sure.
they have all of the other different programs, and I get the fancy student discount. So I make it work. But
you paid for it.
Yeah, but I paid the student price for it, which means that I pay almost 60% less than most people do.
I'm just bugging you. I take advantage of that student discount for software like you wouldn't fucking believe.
Exactly. Thank you. Anyway, so the last video that I ever edited with Premiere on the MacBook was the 40-something minute review of Titans episode 1, and I almost had to upgrade my computer immediately afterwards because that computer almost got dumped onto the floor in anger because it took forever and it kept quitting and not responding, and it was just a hassle altogether. So I was just like, fine, it's done. No more of this. I am investing in a PC. I'm building my own goddamn PC, and all of my videos are going to go and be edited on that, where I have the big old tower and all of the fixins and everything is just right here. So all of my preparatory work, like the scripting and all of the compilation of graphics, is on the portable system, but then I transfer it all over through the Google Docs and stuff to the PC. And that's how I do the editing process. So you don't even need a thumb drive if you're as big a Google fangirl in that respect as I am. But not like a super fangirl, but like
I hear you. I don't know. I've got a conspiratorial bias against cloud storage. Of
course you do. I'm not saying that.
But I understand it would probably be a lot. I don't know. Flash drives are just so damn and that's one of the reasons I'm looking forward to USB 3 so much. I mean, do you understand? I want like all my external hard drives. I have a 3 terabyte, a 4 terabyte, a 1.5 terabyte, and a 1 terabyte, and they're all USB 3 capable, but I'm running them through the 3 USB 2 ports that are on this laptop. Oh man, my i7 laptop though, it has 2 USB 3. You don't think I noticed the difference? Oh my God.
I only have like the 1 USB port on my computer now, and I only use it for a mouse. All of my USBs are actually taken up by the 2 cameras that I have, because I have 2 camera angles on this, by the way. So if I wanted to, I could totally just shift it. So hi everybody, I'm at a different angle.
That is awesome. You could go full Steve Shives, where like you turn around and do an alternate camera angle in the middle of the.
Or no, I could just do Coach Red Pill. I could do the Coach Red Pill thing where I just shift I want. Yeah, I started doing that. So I have that capability, but it's only the 2 angles. But I also have the light. I have the fancy the what is it called? It's completely frivolous and it's 100% for the aesthetics of it, but it's the light strip that goes through the rainbow.
Yeah. Oh, gotcha.
That was an impulse buy. And then the rest of my USBs are taken up by my keyboard, my mouse, my Yeti, and then my Fitbit watch.
Nice.
I have so many USBs.
Lambie in chat says you need more cameras for CRP style.
I do. I actually have a video planned.
You want to go full CRP, you're going to need to start writing scripts, giving advice to disillusioned young men that's often related to sex and your ill experience and bad advice. Bad advice.
I have that video planned. It's in the works, but it's a work in progress because I do need the equipment in order to actually do it. And I'm not going to get it until I visit my brother and I have that ability. because I have the 2 cameras that are stationary. I just need one portable one.
You're not actually thinking about giving advice to disillusioned young men.
Oh, it's going to be the shittiest advice you ever done heard, son.
Well, it's an uphill battle to compete with Coach Cringe, let me tell you.
It's going to be a combination of pickup artist criticism / CRP. So if you've ever heard really bad pickup artist advice, just use that as your basis. And then CRP is going to be that...
So remember, here's your rules of thumb to go ahead into this, okay?
Yeah.
All women are whores and looking to use you. No matter how ugly you are, you're superior to all women, and talking down to them somehow turns them on.
Yep.
And then finally, as a 52-year-old failed con artist, you can still make money online by giving this bad advice to disillusioned young men in need of a father figure, no matter how lame.
Mm-hmm.
Proceed on those. You can't lose your way.
Yeah. I've been planning this video for several months. I can't bring myself to watch enough CRP content to actually get a good headway on the script. Plus I also need the equipment. Rich Jacobson, divine bad pickup advice. Okay, so one of the worst pieces of advice that I've ever heard in terms of pickup artist advice is rip the headphones out of your girl's ear that you want to get the attention of, because that's going to get her attention. It's not going to be the right attention, but it's going to get her attention. And she might be a little bit pissed at you, but...
And Race also asks, what's a CRP?
Oh, Coach Red Pill.
No, just he's been doing the right things online because he doesn't know. Leave him alone. It's fine.
I have this. Okay, so part of the video, and I hate to spoil it, but I totally want to spoil this part because it's hilarious just in the way that I would describe it, right? So you know how CRP does the whole mobile circuit thing where he rolls around on a trolley and he's just talking to the camera and he's walking around in circles?
Yeah.
Okay, so what would that look like from a different perspective? Not from the POV position that we're looking at CRP dead on like that, but if you're just looking at him walking in circles and talking to the camera, that's going to be part of the video.
What kills me is that it cuts from it, right? There'll be the head-on angle that you've got right now, the shoulder bust angle of shoulders up.
Yeah, just and then this.
And then it will edit to. I've seen one of his videos where it'll cut to the trolley cam, and I'm like, and now we switch to cringe cam.
So what does this look like from the alternate perspective? Where you're just looking at this dweeb running around in circles, talking to a camera like it's his child.
That. Okay, I just got an image in mind. That would be great. As a piece of parody and mockery, have your camera somehow, and it would be as easy as having just turn in a constant motion, holding the camera in a circle, and you're trying to walk and keep up with the camera frame constantly. It's not following you. You're trying desperately to stay within the camera's frame. So, as you slow down, as people normally do when they're making a point, and then you're going to suddenly have to do a little scoot to catch up, it'll be hilarious.
Yeah. But this is gonna take 8 different degrees of coordination on the part of the people that I recruit to do it, because I have other videos planned with Balik. It's gonna be interesting. But it's gonna take a little bit more coordination and some more free time than I currently have at the moment. Maybe it'll be a next semester video, because it's not like it's imperative that I get it out in the next 2 weeks, but it's an idea that I've had, and I'm gonna do it. It's just a matter of when.
I want to put in my vote, nay, demand. Mm-hmm. I want more Detective Jones, damn it.
Oh, yes. Okay, fine. I actually have to invest in an actual coat and fedora, because up until this point, whenever I'm home, I'm borrowing my dad's shit. Whenever I'm at school, I borrow from the costume department, and I can't keep doing that. I need to have an actual, fedora and an actual, what's it called? Not a straight jacket. It's what's it called?
What, a trench coat?
Trench coat. I need an actual trench coat.
Do you have a consignment store? anywhere a vintage clothes store?
Yeah,
Anywhere near you?
Yeah.
That, man, you'd be amazed, because if it's just for prop purposes, yeah, there's lots of long coats that in black and white would definitely serve your purposes as a trench coat for cheap,
Okay. Yeah.
And you're a girl, so it doesn't really matter if it's like oversized or whatever. You know what I mean? You're gonna find something that'll be,
Well,
definitely.
it would be nice if it wasn't longer than my arm, because I'm already pretty comically short, and people already point that out to me. So I have to be able to use my hands and facilitate movement here like this or whatever. So it doesn't look super ridiculous, and I have over long sleeves, because you're supposed to take Detective Jones seriously, ladies and gentlemen. All right, and having an oversized coat is not going to help that in any capacity. Before we continue on, I'm just going to switch camera angles. Hello, everybody. To this is not going to ever get old. Lion Patriot donated to the Streamlabs to say, your mane looks fabulous. And I'm going to say, thank you.
Really quick, Lion Patriot over on Streamlabs says, skillet fried taters are my favorite. Thank you for the $10. I also like skillet fried taters, though I'm not. All right.
Weebo could be Carmen Sandiego, and Polly is Where's Waldo. I don't know. You don't have the Where's Waldo look, because I've seen you before. I don't know. I don't think.
No, I see. Well, let me tell you something. I am the owner, operator, and proprietor of Noir Bar. It happens over on my channel if you don't know. It's a great time. If you haven't been there, you should swing by.
Yeah.
Detective Jones has never come by Noir Bar. Now you think about this. This is verging on criminal. Like, Detective Jones should be coming by Noir Bar to like drink away her pain and make contacts with the seedy underbelly of the city, and just
You're right, Polly. And it would be very easy for me to do that, because I have the ability to do this too while streaming.
Nice. And we've got like a music accompaniment that plays whilst we're streaming.
Right. I'm working on getting the costume. All right, it's gonna take a little bit of time, because I gotta find the right coat, and I gotta find the right hat, because this is gonna be a permanent purchase. It's not just something I borrow from somebody else. All right, it's dedication to the character. All right, it's gonna go in my special box of costumes, because I have one of those, believe it or not.
Right.
It's got to be correct. You understand, Polly, right? You're a neat freak perfectionist type person, right?
No, I own a smoking jacket, for God's sake.
Yes, and it probably took you a while to actually buy the damn thing, right? Because you were like, all right, it's got to be the right color, it's got to be the right feel, it's got to be the right size. I can't have like non-stretchy in the shoulders, otherwise it's just not going to be what it's intended for, which is for smoking, and casual.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm a strong believer in people are like, you got to have a suit that fits. People always say that, and it's like, okay, fits for what though? It's like, well, for your body type. Let me tell you something. Go up to somebody wearing a quote fashion forward suit of today and ask them to stretch their arms out in front of them like you just did. Like if you were to reach out and put both your hands out in front of you. It's like, can you do that without hearing the fabric twist and pull and stop? Like, it's like a straight jacket. No, you can't. If you can't do that, your suit doesn't fit. And I'm like, well, I don't want it to be baggy. See, these are the options that people have offered themselves. Skin tight cat suit in the form of a business suit, or baggy 1980s style.
There is an in between.
There is. And it's funny you mentioned that I insisted the smoking jacket be the right size. I, as a matter of happy circumstance, came across it at a consignment store.
Oh, no.
I was at my girlfriend at the time. She was there, and I'm kind of like standing around bored, like, can we go yet? And I came across that smoking jacket, and I'm like, and it's vintage. It's vintage. And she, yeah, well, the way they work, right? Like, especially if you're a regular goer, you turn in all your old clothes, and then they don't give you money for them. You get credit for your consignment?
It depends on the consignment store that you go to. At my consignment store, they just give you a portion of the profits for whatever it is that you sell, and you have the option to buy, but you don't necessarily have to. They just give you money in return for that as well too, that they if they want.
Okay, well this one is like, it's of the style where no, you don't get any money, you get credit for people to buy more clothes, and they're making their money off of the differences between those things, like their 15-20% handling fee, whatever it is, to cover all of the overhead, including dry cleaning. They dry clean everything. Anyway, she was there and popping in to say, so did anything sell? Like, there was checking their account, and it's like, yeah, you have $75 worth of credit, that kind of thing. So she's going around shopping, looking at stuff because she had credit this time. And when I saw that smoking jacket, she's like, you want that, don't you? And I'm like, yeah, I kind of do. So she had a whack ton of credit because she had taken a whole bunch of her sisters and friends stuff in there. They're like, yeah, I don't want this, here, take it. So she took like a giant bundle she had to carry in 2 loads worth of clothes at a whack ton of credit. So I only ended up putting in $25 of my own money to get that smoking jacket a few years ago. And I was like, hell yeah. It's crushed black velvet with quilted purple lapels that are quilted lapels. It's very nice. And it's a comfy size, and it's warm but not hot. It's exactly what you want in a smoking jacket. I love it. It's sitting right over there in the closet in a dry cleaning bag.
Yeah. Some of my best articles of clothing haven't actually been things that I've bought, but they're just things that people have abandoned and lost and found of places. Because going to college, I want you all to know something. We all share the same laundry room, and some people, for whatever reason, forget things in the laundry room, and they forget them for the rest of their lives. So therefore, it becomes public domain. So the school would otherwise take those clothes and they'd put them in with because our school has also a thrift shop for all of the abandoned, unloved, unused things. Because we also have a large contingent of foreign exchange students. The foreign exchange students, they just buy a whole bunch of new crap at the beginning of the school year and then donate it to the school at the end of the school year because they're rich enough to do that. And so our school has a heckin' of a thrift shop with all of the things that you could possibly want. So some of these things that I've found in the laundry room that I've cleaned, definitely, don't worry about it. But you find them in the laundry room and you're like, this is really nice. And it's been here for like 8 weeks. It's mine now, I guess, because otherwise it would go to the school. And so I have a really nice leather jacket that I have that someone just forgot about in the laundry room. And it fits me perfectly.
That's wild.
I've been so happy about it. I've had it for 2 years. It's a great find.
I have a few leather jackets. My prized one is the replica jacket that Alonzo Harris wore in Training Day, Denzel Washington's character.
I'm gonna look that up. Keep talking.
Yeah, but when I saw Training Day and I see Alonzo Harris walking around in this jacket, I'm like, I need that jacket in my life. It's he's super corrupt cop. He's basically more gangster than he is cop, and I'm like,
my dad has that jacket, I think.
Oh man, it is gorgeous, and I love it. I only break it out when it's long but stops short of being a full length coat, and the collar is ever so poppable. Oh man, yeah.
You have that jacket, like exactly?
Yes, I do.
It took
a long time to hunt it down.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, because you're like what, 5'2"?
I'm 5'2", yeah. Oh, thank you. You got my height right for the first time ever. That's happening.
I'm 6'2", so you're damn right. That thing would be like a dress on you. It would be like a full length leather coat. But that's the idea. It's supposed to be long. It's supposed to be free moving. So it's the shape and size of your classic New York gangster's leather jacket, just bigger and longer with a larger lapel for extra cool collar popping. Mm-hmm. And I rock it with respect. Believe it.
Respect.
So
okay.
I'd like to shift topics if I could, because we're on the topic of gangsters, so it makes a good segue. Okay. Have you seen Superman, 1978 Superman with Christopher Reeve?
Remind me of the plot of that one, because I probably have, but I can't remember. That's the one where he flies around the sun or the earth and it goes back in time, right?
Correct. That is what he does at the end of the film. And Lex Luthor, played by the inimitable Gene. Shit! I just blanked out on his name, and I love this actor so much. He played Little Bill. He played Little Bill in.
I'm looking it up. Don't worry.
In Unforgiven, he played the gangster Harris in The Searchers. He played not The Searchers, in The Hunting Party. Gene Hackman, thank you. Yes. Gene Hackman is Lex Luthor, and it is. Thank you, everybody, with the and Hackman. God damn you! Yeah, I am a big fan of Gene Hackman. You show me a bad minute of acting that guy ever had on screen. Anyway, as Lex Luthor, he has what I consider to be the greatest villain's lair of all time. Do you happen to recall his villain's lair, Weebs?
I'm looking at it right now. It was.
I have pictures.
Oh my God! No, I have the pictures too, right here in front of me. Oh, it's like all of the books on the shelves with the rolly ladder to the.
Yeah.
Do you? Okay. Sidebar.
Show the screen. Show the screen.
So
everyone else can see his awesome lair.
Desperately, Polly, I don't think you understand. I desperately want a house with a rolly ladder for my library because I want an in-house library.
See, I was talking about this very subject with Irate Bear the other day. I said, this is, see, he's got the rolly ladder with the curved bookshelf and the books that go all the way up to the top. I love this so much. I have no words. It's
everything that I could ever want in an aesthetic for my future living quarters.
I'm telling you, look at, oh man. I mean, the conversation, French Connection, if you haven't seen it, it is one of the best gritty cop dramas of all time, but definitely of the 1970s. French Connection is an amazing film. Anyhow, it's an obvious wig intentionally as a wig. It gets pulled off at one point because he's bald and he wears wigs. But if you don't remember what this lair is, it's Miss Tessmacher, the lady over to the right here. He's forever screaming in the film, Miss Tessmacher.
Yes.
She's like, Lex, I want a better place than this. And she's like, this is a Fifth Avenue address. And she's like, Fifth Avenue? 5 stories underground. He's like, do you have any idea what people are paying up there for a measly few hundred square feet? Like, the guy took an old train station and converted it into his villain's lair. Like, if you look at the background, like, this is obviously just a train station, but he flooded certain parts of it. So he's got an interior pool and he's got his own library built in there. Everything are marble staircases, an abandoned train station. Best villain's lair ever. It's I love it so much.
One sec before we continue on. Thank you to Evolved Potato who donated to the Streamlabs to say, don't believe Polly's lies. The Smoking Jack was made by his live-in tailor. Polly, you have a live-in tailor and you don't let me use him?
Jeeves is busy.
Jeeves? Why not Jives? I feel like Jives would be a better name.
He's busy with his stitch work. So it's.
Oh, look at that old-fashioned computer right there. Look at that. I'm having war flashbacks, and I wasn't even alive back then.
Oh yeah, this is. If you haven't watched 1978 Superman in a while, it's got. Look at that shot. That is fantastic. You see all the drop lights from the ceiling, the 68-foot high ceiling that he's got.
Okay. I'm not kidding about that library. Guys, we need to crowdfund to get Weebo her library with the rolly ladder.
The rolly ladder is the key. I understand exactly what you're talking about.
Yes. Okay, Polly, I'm gonna stop sharing for a sec because we're about to have a heart-to-heart. So I was at a Barnes and Noble's many years ago in Chicago, on a lonesome with a friend of mine, and this Barnes and Noble's had a rolly ladder, and I was the most jovial I could have ever been at the age that I was. I think it was like maybe a junior in high school, and I have the greatest picture. I'll try and find it, and I'll share it with everybody at some point. But I have the greatest picture of me just hanging off the rolly ladder at the bookstore, and it's not even a curved library, right? It's just a straight line, but it still brought me such joy
Yes.
have come across one of these things in real life, and it's just in my head, stuck there. Since then, I need a rolly ladder for my library when it is that I have my own house.
Of course.
Because everyone needs one. That's probably one of the more pretentious things about me, but it'd be like that sometimes, right? Probably with the smoking jacket.
No, I get what you're saying. I'm not going to argue with you. People waste their time on having, like, they've got a great room and they've got a living room and a dining room, and it's like, so where's the library? And they're like, well, I keep those in the living room. And it's like, so you've converted your living room into a lot. How many books do you have? Obviously not enough.
I am going to have enough books to line the freaking walls of my library, and then a nice leather armchair with a nice lamp. And it's going to be like one of those pull string lamps, right?
Sure.
And it's going to have a matching, it's not an armoire, right? It's the thing that you put your feet on. Ottoman?
Oh, ottoman. Yeah.
Ottoman. It's going to have a nice matching leather ottoman. I'm thinking of like not a light brown, but like somewhere in between a really dark brown and a really light brown leather. It's going to be aged leather though too, so it's not going to look too new. It's going to be a little bit scruffed up because it's got to have that right aesthetic, and it's going to be dark wood is the book shelving. Because if it's anything other than that, then you're just wasting your time, honestly.
Well, I mean, if I can't sit behind a huge oak desk with a red cherry wood paneled wall room with a high back chair so I can steeple my fingers and go, I mean, what's the point?
And then of course you have to have the little table right there for when it is that you put your bourbon down on your in your crystal glass.
Yes.
Obviously. Am I talking to the right audience here when I'm talking about this?
See, and people don't get it. This is why I want my church warden pipe to fit into this aesthetic. It's part of an overall thing I'm aiming at, one piece at a time.
Like, boyfriend gets the man cave with all of the vintage video games. I get the weeb cave with all of the bookshelves lining everything, and the armchair. All right, we this is gonna happen. Okay?
Well, no, see, I need two. I don't understand this whole idea of the man cave, because I have a man cave. I call it the loadatorium. That's the room where I do all my ammunition reloading. That's the room that the gun cabinets are in, and so forth.
See, that's the basement armory.
Yeah, and it actually is in the basement of this house. And that's why I call it the loadatorium, because I do the hand loading in there. But that's also where I do all my Revolutionary War mini painting and all those other things. So it's like a crafts room, but it's really most predominantly for the firearms and stuff. Yeah. So that's why it's the loadatorium. Separate from that is the evil lair office. I need 2 rooms at a minimum.
Well, you see, okay, in terms of like weaponry, boyfriend and I have had this discussion, right? And we're going to have a number of weapons on display throughout the rest of the house, right? So most of them, they're not going to be the guns. Those are going to definitely be in the safe and or in a secure location that is to be unnamed in the public sphere for obvious reasons. But we're going to have the house lined with a whole bunch of like weaponry on display that you can easily just take off the walls and just like jab at the person if necessary. But it will be on display with like little placards or whatever, just so we can have them, because you don't want to put all of your weapons in a dark, dank area in the middle of like the basement where no one can see them, because you want to show off your grandiose display of I can kick your ass, you know?
Well, it depends on what neighborhood you live in, but I hear what you're saying.
Yeah. You want people to have that impression of you, follow me? I don't know what you're talking about. Depends on what neighborhood you live in. No, it doesn't.
You don't want, well, if you don't, well, I don't know what kind of high-class environment you're living in, but in my neighborhood, you don't want people to be able to see the valuables, especially firearms, through a window.
They're not firearms. They're the knives and shit.
Yeah, well, you don't want them to see them either. I love a Vol Potatoes comment here. My library is in the shape of a 5 terabyte hard drive, like a proper Gen Z person.
I like this comment. A weeb cave only measures 6 foot by 10 foot. You know, listen here. It's going to be a lot bigger. The weeb cave is going to be able to hold me and my ego. Okay?
So you're going to live in a cathedral?
Oh, I'm flattered that you think that my ego is that large. It's actually much larger. You're going to have to go a little bit bigger there, probably.
An entire basilica of cathedrals. Got it.
There you go. You got it.
Manic, quit outing me in public. It says, shh.
Your Batman? Polly.
I don't like to talk about it.
We have to have a discussion about the relationship going on between two of your wards, Dick Grayson and Barbara Gordon. I don't think it's right. I think it's unnatural. Disgusting.
Well, really quick, W.R. Costin says, "Greeting, wonderful people, and Polly, go fuck yourself."
Hang on, what's wrong? Oh, I get it. He's saying you're not a wonderful people. Well, Polly, because of all of the adjectives to describe you, wonderful is not grandiose enough, obviously. That's what he's trying to say there.
Oh, I misunderstood. No, I didn't.
Polly, ever the cynic you are. Come on, lighten up.
Did you ever see the Killing Joke animated film?
Yes.
Did the relationship that he had with Barbara Gordon bother you in that film?
It always bothers me, but that's because I have a natural bias against Barbara Gordon. I hate her with a burning passion, so don't ask me that question unless you want a biased answer. But you will say.
Why? Because Dick Grayson?
No, because Barbara Gordon. I hate her. My OTP has always and will always be Corey Anders and Dick Grayson, Nightwing and Starfire, and I cannot deviate from that, and I've never been able to deviate from that. And anytime someone's deviated that for me, I just had this like visceral reaction. And it's not just because essentially they are what I would call superhero siblings, all right? Because technically that's what they are, but it's just I hate that relationship. It's not rational. There's no reason for it. I just do.
Right.
So sorry, you were saying.
No, I actually just asked and you just answered. I said, is it the thing with Nightwing / Dick Grayson? You're like, no, not so much. Because I don't know, a lot of people got bent out of shape over the fact that they hooked up, that Batman and Barbara Gordon hooked up, and
that was a little bit too.
The Killing Joke animated feature. I mean, just everybody's like, the content that actually came from the graphic novel was great. Everything that was an addition to it was weird and strange. Among it, the fact that, and it wasn't even like Bruce Wayne was not the aggressor. She was.
No, she was all over him. And I remember distinctively that scene has been seared into my mind. And
well, see, and that's what some people are like, but she's so young. And I'm like, I don't know. She's supposed to be a college age girl, and Bruce Wayne is in that iteration is supposed to be his perpetual 27, 28 years old. And so I didn't see that problem. I think it's because a lot of people got like, I've seen iterations of Barbara Gordon when she's a teenager, when she's still in high school or has just entered college, and they're thinking of Bruce Wayne as mid-30s. And I'm like, yeah, okay, there I hear you, but that's not the iteration that they were doing there. So
it's also because it became less of like a Batman Joker-y type film and more of Barbara Gordon in her lustfulness for the Bat-D in that film.
You know what my take on it was?
Kind of.
It was a failed attempt to make her shooting more tragic.
Okay, you know what? That actually does make a little bit more sense. Because
do you see what I mean? It's like she's not just going to be a character in his life. She's not just going to be an important person to him because of who she's related to, and
there's going to be intimate sexual feelings.
Yeah, we're going to make all of the things, and because we have a limited amount of time to tell the story, there's a lot of people who aren't going to know the lore, so it's going to be super tragic when she's shot. This isn't just someone he knows that got shot. This is someone he knows forever, familial relations, and he's hooked up with her, so it's all the things, family, romantic, whatever. And so when she gets shot, it's like, dun dun dun. And I think it was a fail. I don't think it worked in the way they wanted it to. That's my best guess as to why they did that.
And I think the reason why is because it was so shoehorned. It didn't feel like it was natural enough in its implementation.
I agree.
So that's why it felt uncomfortable. See, I hadn't even considered that was what you were talking about until I was like, oh yeah, that's what happened in that movie. Because it's been a while. I actually have it on DVD, I think.
Shit, spoilers. Sorry, Chip.
Very old-fashioned sentence. No, I've seen it. It's been a hot minute. I think the last DC movie that I've actually seen was Gotham by Gaslight.
Yeah.
It was a while
Which
ago.
how
Which was good.
I demand an ongoing Gotham by Gaslight era comic series or animated series. There's nobody who didn't love it. There's nobody who didn't love that time period for Batman. He just fits right into it. The design of his costume is super cool, cubed. I mean, it just looks so sweet. They gave him like the high top, tall standing collar. His mask has there's everything about his suit, and just the Batman idea himself fits into that period so well. Why haven't they done a comic? You've got gold just sitting there waiting for you guys, DC. Ongoing series.
I'm about to share with the audience what it is that we're talking about here. And let's try not to make this into a whole what do you call it? Oh, no. A comic book curation, because you do that on Wednesday nights.
We do that on Wednesdays.
Yeah, you do that on Wednesdays. You're trying to co-opt our stream. Polly, nutty.
And James Cawley says that was an awesome animated movie. Wow, James Cawley finally said something of worth.
Yeah, no, this is what we're talking about. This loveliness right here. It's a good time.
Look at the way they incorporate the collar into the cape with the weebs. You probably know what it's called. What's the hangy over part of the deerstalker coat?
Oh, I do know what it's called, but for the life of me, I can't think of what it's called. Oh my god, you put me on the spot. Oh my god. Ow. The hangy over collar coat thing. Hang on, I'm gonna Google it. Hangy over coat.
And Scribelight nailed it. Gotham by steampunk. You're right. It's so steampunk with his tech and his stuff like that. Scribe, tell me you wouldn't be all over this, man. It's the coolest setting. I mean,
I 100%
Scribe suggests a capilet?
A capilet.
That I'll take his word on that. You got me.
A oral medicinal tablet. A coated no. Hang on. Yeah, it's a capilet.
Nice, Scribe. Right in there with the knowledge.
Yeah, you normally see that more so on females nowadays than you do on men. But that was a thing. That was a thing back in the day. Many a day ago. Polly, read my comment before that. That was a previous nugget of worth in there too. Oh, Polly, since you brought up the Killing Joke, I just want to share with you this thing. So we're gonna shift the camera. Look.
That's the sexist cover.
Yeah, it is. I got it specifically because it was controversial and I hate Barbara Gordon. So it was a 2-for-1 special for me.
That's the cover that should have never been.
Mm-hmm.
It's problematic.
I like it.
I know. Yeah, no, that's pretty fucking awesome. Yeah. I was listening to Scribe actually talking on Lords of the Night, and I've heard this opinion expressed before, but he was nice and succinct with it, just kind of summed it all up. These people that go around and inject themselves into a community that they may or may not be interested in, and it's really just about bossing people around and telling them what they think is right and wrong and problematic and good and not, and it happens in games, comics, tabletop gaming, fucking video games, movies, and it's like, you're not part of this fandom. You're barely connected to it, but you will walk into it, claim an expertise, and start telling people what should and shouldn't be happening. And it's like, you know what? It's
you can't just shoehorn your way into a fandom and expect people to bow down like that.
But I mean, that cover is old. Mm-hmm. It's like they're going back through long boxes going, most people that are fans of comics will go through long boxes like, got it, need it, got it. Like they're going through and it's like, fine, problematic, fine, problematically. Jesus. They go back into old stuff to find fucking problems. Stuff that hasn't come out with, they have problems with it, i.e. the Joker film, for example. Not that I want to go down that path because it's been discussed to death.
Oh, no, we talked about it last week. You weren't here.
I did watch that though, but I mean that kind of idea, like it doesn't matter whether it's old and past and nobody had a problem with it until you decided to. So you'll inherit problems and resurrect non-issues, or cast them into the future and prognosticate problems with a film you haven't seen. There's no stopping it. The present day and things aren't enough for them. There's only one consistency amongst the whole thing. I want to be standing on some kind of moral high ground denouncing something.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, that's all that really matters is, am I more virtuous than thou?
Yeah.
Brad puts it well. Outrage archaeologists and outrage forecasters. Oh, don't even get me started on the subject of archaeology. I could go on for days. And we don't have days.
What is our runtime at right now?
We are at 1 hour and 10 minutes. So we got about 20
Okay, so we got 20 minutes left. I keep forgetting that you like running on a schedule.
It's not, we haven't actually had like a set, this is what we're going to talk about when and for how long. Technically, you show up with a topic, and then we just started talking, and we didn't even have a topic. And I asked you, like, Polly, what do you want to talk about today? And you're like, I don't know, what do you want to talk about today? And I'm like, I don't know. So we just, I don't know. We've just wasted an hour and 10 minutes.
I actually got an interesting point about that, but
yeah.
Really quick over on the Streamlabs. Yeah, Race Jacobson, you're not wrong. I've got like 2 screens, and they're occupied with like 5 different tabs right now, and I need to make sure one of them is always Streamlabs. You got me on that one. But Race Jacobson over on the Streamlab says Barbara was all over his throbbing Robin.
We're a family friendly channel. This is not Monkey in the Morning.
I kind of like, okay, yeah, beside all of the problems, I mean, it is, somebody pointed that out previously in chat. I'm sorry, I forget who. They said like it is canon that they hooked up, and yeah, it is.
I know.
I thought it was a fine moment. What? Because Batman wasn't the, not aggressor, but the pursuer. It's a problem. I thought it was kind of hot that they made her the pursuer. She's a young woman. She knows what she wants. This guy's walking around in a skin tight suit, showing off his physique, and she was like, "Hey, yeah, I want me a piece of that." What's wrong with that?
I just don't like Barbara. All right.
I just think there's a lot of guys out there that have never had a woman come on to them in that way, and they're like, "This isn't realistic," and it's like, no, it is.
Oh, dude, it can be very uncomfortable if a woman just comes on to you like it's out of the blue or whatever, and it's like persistent, because they just be cray.
Well, okay, but yeah, but now that is a, well, we are talking about people that dress up in costumes and run around the city. So
she knows all of the keynotes.
There is but leaving that element aside, I think this whole idea that no woman would ever just like, no, that hasn't happened to you, where a woman made the first move because you were alone together and she thought, now's the time, damn it, I'm 2 drinks deep and this guy's hot and let's do this. It's happened to me. I don't know why it seems so odd.
Well, okay, it's not odd so much as depending on how enthusiastic she is, it could be a little bit unnerving.
Well, I'm talking about a romantic sexual overture that's erotic as opposed to rape. Okay, there's
fair. But,
you've never made a what could be considered aggressive erotic maneuver on boyfriend? Yeah, you have. Just say it. It's fine.
Yeah, but we were already together, so it's not a big deal. Okay, Polly, I need to inform you of some very crucial information. I don't know how much you know about me and Boyfriend Doe's relationship, but the courtship lasted a solid 9 months before we actually became an item, if you will. And then 4 years plus, actually now at this point, 4.5 years of actual relationship, 3 of which have been long distance. So there was 9 months prior to us being a couple where it was, do you want to be my girlfriend? Do you want to go out? Flirtatious type of, what I would consider as courtship nowadays, as opposed to, what people do nowadays with the hookup and never talk to them again, and the Tinder shenanigans, and what people did back in the day with the supervised visitation.
Super what?
Supervised visitation.
Gotcha.
Because, parents used to have to be present for all instances of courtshipping unless it was a public affair.
Well, of course. Well, okay, well, take 2 things. Mm-hmm. One, I love that you used the word courtship in a sentence unironically. That was
because that's what it was.
And that's great. what? That was awesome. What? It's like I'm courting the lady. And I'll say things like that. People are like, it's like, what? That's a word. It makes sense.
It is, and in this instance, it's the most applicable because we weren't together, but we weren't not involved, I guess.
No, it's just I know some people that are everything is some kind of weird, hot and heavy anonymous encounter. You know, it's not always that way, guys. Shit.
There are neutral tones in between. And you know what? I like getting to know the person. There are neutral tones in between, right? And I like getting to know the person before it is that I'm actually an item with that person. You know, I can't just jump into, let's go on our first date, just out of the blue. We have to be friends. We have to have been flirting a little bit. There has to be some sort of chemistry. I can't just be going on a blind date and being like, stop. Relationship? Or so we're on a date. I don't feel comfortable calling it a date if I don't feel comfortable with the person. So,
Ryan Walters brings up another great word, swoon. It's quite fetching when a woman can use the word swoon unironically in a sentence. She's like, why, Mr. Dubenstein, you positively make me swoon with your bellicosity. It's very bewitching.
Yeah, and I'm a big person into old-fashioned type of nonsense. You know, I like this. And I've been told that the Discord thing doesn't work. So I'm gonna, and I just put it in there twice at the same time. All right, I reposted the Discord link in the chat, and then I will repost it to the description for later so that you guys can use it. Make sure when you guys jump into the Discord, make sure you verify yourself, because otherwise you won't be able to talk in the Discord. You have to verify yourself. You'll get a message from a bot that says, please verify yourself. And if you don't verify yourself, the Discord is completely useless to you. And that's just to protect the Discord from any would-be shenanigans. Because there have been shenanigans.
I have seen them.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not a big fan of shenanigans in my Discord, all right? So...
Yeah, I've been over there from time to time, and I see the business. Yeah, y'all find me in there. I think I'm just in there as Polydub.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
You haven't changed your name to anything special recently.
Okay, yeah. So I'm up in there. This Rudiger Maximilian Dubenstein. That's my villain name.
The fact that you have a villain name is probably, to me at least, the more pretentious of the things. Because I don't even have a villain name. I don't even have a villain character for my channel. What is this? I
was about to say, you with all of the characters you have, and you didn't come up with a Lex Luthor or James Bond style villain?
Yeah. Well, no, I don't.
You need a nemesis for Detective Jones.
Okay, I have Miss Missy Andre, and she's the redhead, right? And I have Detective Jones, who is the noir detective person. I have been toying with the notion of including another character very recently because I received something in my P.O. box from a viewer, and I don't know what else I would do with it. And I'll show it to you guys next week because I don't want to spoil it because they make a debut in my next video, which goes live either Tuesday or Wednesday. But I don't know what to do with it. I don't know how to explain what this is. It's not like when I received a certain phallic object in the mail from a viewer of mine who shall remain named Jolander. But it's
okay.
It's awkward of a different disposition. Do you understand what I'm coming at? It's cringy.
I hear you.
It's even cringier than the phallic object was. I don't know how to explain it to boyfriend. I'll show it to you after we get off here, Holly. But the rest of you are going to have to wait until I post my video live. Thank you to Rage Jacobson, who donated $1 to say Jonas Weebostein. Ooh. Wait, why does Jonas Weebostein have to be Jewish?
It's not necessarily. Dubenstein isn't Jewish.
Kind of. Isn't it, though? Stein?
Commonly, but it's German. I mean, because like all the names that are quote Jewish are just Jewish because Ashkenazi Jewish. You're not going to find Sephardic Jews with those kinds of names. Those are, there's plenty of people throughout Germany because they're all German names of that, Eastern European origin, right?
Okay, see, I didn't quite make that connection. All right, hang on. I want to alter this name. It's not going to be Jonas Weebostein. It's going to be Jonas Weebenstein. And then there's going to be a whole bit with the Steen and Stein thing. Like Young Frankenstein?
Okay.
Have you ever seen that?
But where's you got to have a particularly I'm not saying it's a bad idea. It's a good place to start. But why Maximilian? Well, one, it just sounds incredibly villainous. But or as Sinatra would say, villainous. He wrote in chat, I am the Valen. So, okay.
No, he wrote, I am the villain.
Villain, excuse me. It's not villainous. Maximilian, because I was watching a James Bond film, and the villain he was going up against in Never Say Never Again was Maximilian Largo. And I'm like, that is the most villainous sounding villain name ever. Maximilian Largo. So I knew when I was coming up with a villain name, it was Rediger Maximilian Dubbenstein.
I like the Jonas Weebenstein name.
Bajobas?
No, the Jonas Weebenstein.
Jonas. Jonas strikes me as the middle name. Like you need like a first name. Like it would be something Jonas Weebenstein.
All right, we're taking suggestions in the chat and or the comment section. If the people would like to decide upon the villainous Weebenstein name, first name, I'll come to a decision later, and we'll work out the details and the rest of the kinks in this new character.
This is character gen, like old school D&D character gen. I love it.
I have so many costumes that I've used over the years.
Race Jacobson says Maximilian Pegasus is much cooler. That does. Where's that from? Maximilian Pegasus. I mean, that does like Pegasus Industries. He's building a moon base for his evil intent. I love this name. I want to know where it's from.
Karen Jonas Whedon. Yu-Gi-Oh! I never played Yu-Gi-Oh! As a kid.
Yeah,
I played Pokemon as a kid.
A bunch of weeb shit that passed by me. Not weeb, you weeb, but weeaboo weeb. Yu-Gi-Oh! Was one of them. All respect to the people who love their Dragon Ball Z, but that Maximilian Pegasus is Yu-Gi-Oh! As well. Yeah, known as Pegasus J. Crawford in the Japanese version, as the president of Industrial Illusions.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah, it does sound villainous.
Ooh, John Lander devised with the Streamlabs to say Frederick Jonas Weebenstein. Weebostein.
Frederica, perhaps. But it's.
I could be a dude. Polly, don't limit me to the genders that I am.
Sorry, I didn't realize you were gender fluid.
I'm fluid. I could. Okay, fun fact about me. I don't have any qualms about dressing up as a guy.
J. Jonas Weebenstein from for a second time James Colley says something of worth. You're on a roll, buddy.
J. Jonas Weebenstein. I like it.
But it's getting closer to J. Jonah Jameson Jr., so I'm a fan of this.
Did you just assume Frederick's gender? Yeah, Polly, did you just assume Frederick's gender?
Well, I did meet a girl one time named Charlie. That was her literal first name, birth certificate name, first name.
Not weird. That's typical.
I'm just saying, and it wasn't. That's typical for a woman to, and not Charles. Charlie was her first name.
Have you ever come across a woman named like Alex or something?
I have met a few Alexandrias who go by Alex, but I've never met a guy or a woman named Steve. That's never happened.
Well, Polly, you're just sheltered. You have to get out in the world, meet more people, enjoy the masses. All right, this is your time to shine, Polly. All right, life is too short for you to be cocooned in your little.
Life is too short for me to not know. For me to not know enough women with dude names.
Yeah, it's not that weird. It's not.
Oh.
All right. And it's
Well,
perfectly
we'll see.
in the current sphere.
Actually, you know what? Speaking of like getting out of my cocoon,
Mhm.
I do most days end up going to campus, even though I don't need to, because I just I could do research from home, but it's like, no, I want to do it from my office on campus.
You need a different setting to do some work sometimes, because otherwise you get distracted.
Yeah, but there's this area called Research Campus, which is a series of office buildings and stuff where a bunch of the science faculty has their chemistry labs and so forth. There's computer labs there. The ANTE library is also over there for the more technical books. The law library is also over there, which pisses the law faculty off to no end because it's not connected to the main campus. Wow. Some of the students want to go do their endless research into all the precedents and so forth. They actually have to go somewhere else to a remote campus. I have the option of picking up an office space over there, and I'm thinking of doing it just to not be on the main campus with all of the associated fuckery that goes on there.
Do it.
I'm thinking about it.
Ooh, serious with days off. Isn't Ashley technically a guy's name? Yes, actually. Polly, did you know that? Ashley is technically a guy's name. And so is Lauren. Lauren used to be like strictly a dude's name.
Are you know, we see what I'm sensing here is that you need to get out of your bubble.
I need to get out of my bubble. I need to get out of my bubble.
Well, you needn't say it so emphatically. I'm just offering you help.
Of the two of us, which of us has traveled almost 1,000 miles in the last, I don't know, 2 weeks?
Are we talking in pure distance or in one direction?
Pure distance, sure, but then we're going to have to raise the metric to maybe, 12.
Annoyingly, I have a great low rent where I live at, but like I said, annoyingly, it's not terribly close to campus, so I'm in for a daily trek, both back and forth. But it's fine. That's when I get my podcasting and audiobook listening in.
All right, fair enough. But what I'm trying to get at here is I am not within any bubble.
I say, God damn you.
Get it right. So Polly, we have like 3 minutes left, and with those 3 minutes, I would like to share one thing with the audience.
Shoot.
One thing, and it's of the utmost importance. Look at the cute hunter and me.
Isn't this great? This is and this is another reason why. I mean, look at the background. What a great job Far did. This is
detail.
Yeah, this is Farzuzmi's art, and if you've never seen the background of Noir Bar, which is the stream that I do, that's based in and around this theme of like a 1940s speakeasy blues jazz club where the seedy types show up, and I'm your friendly bartender, bottle ready at the pour, and so forth. That's where it's based, and Far did such a great job with the bar and the way that it's set up. She obviously went as like modeled it off of the background that I use. I'm so impressed by this.
And I'm a big fan of the oversized smoking jacket on the baby otter.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I was just going to say that was the most inspired part. The adorable little otter in the fucking smoking jacket that doesn't fit him.
I believe was it not Lion Patriot that commissioned this from our dear Far?
It was, and Lion Patriot's right in chat, and that was awesome. Thank you for that. I save all of the stuff that people tweet out and show on stream and stuff, different otter clips and different art that they do. Jordan does a lot of art, and Weebs and I were talking about this. We love fan art so very much because like stuff like this comes out. It doesn't need to be to this level of awesome detail because Far is like,
I'll take anything, people.
Yeah, she's like 1 in 10,000. So like I am totally down for this stuff.
Make me laugh, and I will love you forever. You will have a special place in my heart.
That this piece of art actually is up in Noir Bar. It's one of the framed pictures on the wall. Actually, here, let me just. There is my link in chat if you don't have it already, and that's where Noir Bar happened. So yeah, if you go watch some of the most recent streams, except for the last one that got 5 copyright claims on it, Weebs, for music.
5. You gotta use the royalty-free shit.
I went to a royalty-free website to get it. You fucking believe that?
Don't go to the website. Use a YouTuber because they at least understand. Like I use Technoax's music a lot. If you're familiar with them, here I'll send you a good old link in the chat. This is who I use for music, and it doesn't get me everything that I need, but it gets me damn near close.
Well, see,
they rejected my link. How dare they? I'll grab it. Don't worry about it. But I use them because I like Technoax's music, and he's got a wide variety of different options.
I found a great, incredibly well done 1 hour collection, 2 hour collection, different things all over the place. Noir music that's specifically like it's somber and sultry, lots of haunting piano and saxophone and trumpet and stuff like that. Very ambient, to give an ambiance as opposed to loud music that's going to be over and on top of people's voices. Okay, I'll check it out. And I got copyright struck on that because these were from YouTube videos, right? Then I went to other ones where they claimed that they weren't copyrighted material. I still got struck on it because the people included in their mix that they had put up something that was copyrighted, even though the majority of it wasn't. I went to non-copyright sites or copyright-free, royalty-free sites. And my guess is it got bot identified. This wasn't an individual doing it.
Of course, that's always the way that it goes.
And I figure what happened was what other people had already warned me about. If the music is similar, somebody's doing a cover of a classic blues song or a classic jazz track, it is the same notes. So it's going to pick it up and auto hit you. And they're all claims. They're not the infamous strike. But I don't know. I live in this constant concern that a strike is right around the corner. Because as soon as a strike happens, this is, some people unfortunately know, Sinatra among them. Yeah, end of your streaming for 90 days or whatever it is right now.
I thought they adjusted that.
Did they?
I thought they did because YouTube strike stuff policy.
I will check out this link for sure, Weebs.
Different now.
Okay, that's cool. But
Technoax is where I got my intro and outro music. It's the 8-bit song that I use.
I will hunt down something eventually. I was even thinking of, I don't know, talking to some of the people I know that are...
Here we go. The first strike will get your channel frozen for 1 week. Users won't be able to upload or stream any new content to YouTube like before. The strike will expire after 90 days. Second strike within that 90-day period will result in a 2-week uploading freeze. And lastly, a third strike in that 90-day period will cause YouTube to shut down the channel. So, I mean, you have some wiggle room, but like...
I guess like worst case scenario, it's not like I think someone's... I don't think anyone's out to get me. I just worry about bot shit happening because I think most of the time people who put stuff up, total guesswork here, are almost hoping that you'll use it because they want to monetize your video. And that's the whole point of them putting up their original music covers. Go ahead and use it. I want to claim it so I can monetize stuff over on your channel. Hopefully you're not even monetized and I just grab your shit. And that's what's going on with me. My channel's not monetized.
Well, I've never had an issue with Technoax, so I don't think you'd ever have to worry about that unless anything ever changes. But
no, I will totally check that out. But what I was saying real quick is that like I know some people that are like musically inclined, minions of the zoo, Mustafa's skilled with the guitar. It needs to just be ambient background, haunting guitar rhythms and stuff like that. Like if you listen to some of the music there, it's tough. And I'll tell you, the royalty-free stuff that I found that's legit royalty-free doesn't sound like mood music for Noir Bar. It sounds like annoying office jazz elevator music. Does that make sense?
That before? No, I know 100% what you're talking about because I've tried to look for it too for when I'm doing Weebo Noir videos. Yeah. And it's a struggle. I actually settled one time with making my own jazzy sounds. I mean, it worked out decently, but I don't want to do that again. This is a hassle.
Hassle is right. And I went to Incomtech, where a lot of people get their stuff through there. I've used some of that material for shorter videos I've done in the past. But like I was talking about with Bear on Twitter, they're all 2 to 4 minute clips. For those purposes, just for an intro or an outro or whatever, works great. I tried putting a whole bunch of them together to kind of create my own lengthy mix. It just sounds off because each piece of music is intended on a different vibe. So it's just constantly changing mood. What I got to do is swing by like a piano bar and just surreptitiously place a recorder right by the piano, and then just...
You know what? I might be able to get you in touch with my brother because he does music production. And I could have him I could commission something for him to get to you along the lines of what it is that you want to hear. Just give me like an idea of what you want, and I'll be like, hey, bro, we bro.
we bro.
He's pretty good at that music type stuff. And, you know, if I get his name out there, you know, maybe then he'll have more of like an idea of what he wants to do, because he likes music, but I don't know if he has an idea generally. So yeah, let me know.
Yeah,
and I'll hook you up with.
I wish I knew people over in the fine arts faculty at my campus. I know no one, but I mean, the place is just full of people who have this incredible musical skill. It's like, hey man, can you just lay out some sultry trumpet for me over, you know, like an hour or so?
Hey man, can you just freelance all this jazz?
No, not even freelance. It's like we can work out a commission. I'm not saying, you know, work for me for free.
Just freehand the jazz.
Yeah.
Just go nuts and let me record you, and then, you know, I'll give you some monies. Yeah, no, I can see about that. He's got some pretty good music production skills.
Sweet. We should look into it. We're over time though, aren't we?
We are very over time.
All right,
there was like one last thing that I wanted to talk about. I guess we're just gonna have to. Chill. I don't know why it came out of my face like that. So Polly, would you like to tell the audience where they can find you most days?
That's none of their business.
Not what I meant.
Hold on, I'm just putting my link in chat. Yeah, you can find me over on my channel, which is actually just, I don't know why I keep posting a link. It's actually really easy to find. It's just YouTube.com/Polydub. And on Twitter at Poly_dub. It's all very consistent.
Aww.
Yeah. So you can find me over there where we do, let me see. There's Noir Bar that I already told you about, the live streams that we do sporadically on an occasional basis, which means, I don't know, a bunch of times a week. It's usually late night because that's the whole vibe of it. Late night chill stream conversation sort of thing. Invite all types around. If Weebo didn't turn into a pumpkin at midnight, she would have been by already, but you know how it is. And then
you asked me on a day that was not convenient. I had work in the morning.
No, it's fine. We just got to work out a better schedule. It's Weebs has a complicated schedule. She's shown me. I should show her what my schedule looks like. It's also blocked out most of the day. The only time that I have free is at
when you sleep.
the owl hours, as I've come to know them. You know what I mean? And insomnia helps with doing stuff late night as well. And then every Wednesday we do comic book curation. That's Jack, Inquisitor, and myself, and we talk about everything in and around comic books, movies, the relentless amount of SJW politics that are constantly trying to invade it, and all sorts of fun stuff like that. That's every Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern. Great time. And there's a backlog of stuff if you just want to go check it out and see what's going on there. And then plus occasional, much like Weeb one-shot videos on this and that subject. So check it out.
One-shot videos. What are you talking about? I have entire series dedicated on my channel to subjects. And speaking of which, I have a video coming out this week, either Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on when it is that it works out that I can post it. It'll be about fan art supremacy, and I'm just going to give you that title and have you use your little creative minds to fill in the gaps with whatever it is that you want to contextually. So that's fine. And then you'll find us back here on Sundays from 8 to 9:30, possibly later, possibly not as on time as that, like tonight. Which I will take partial responsibility for. I was on my way back from the bar, 15 till. We started this. We were supposed to start this. So that's on me. I'm sorry. It's my bad. I'm taking a leaf out of Polly's book. He's a bad influence. Anyway, so yeah.
Well, it is called the cocktail hour. We're drinkers here. It's just I mean, our cocktail hour lasts longer than an hour. That should tell you something.
It should. It really should. So cocktail hour back here Sundays, 8 p.m. to 9:30 roughly. If not, then you know what? You get an extra bit of show. I don't see anyone complaining about that. And what else? I'm probably going to start doing more content on the other channel now that I have a little bit more free time allotted to me, but we'll see. I have a whole bunch of things planned out. It's just a matter of, do I have enough time to actually get it done? Because, thesis this semester is killing me. Anyway.
As I came to lovingly know it, thesification must occur.
Exactly. Oh, that's right. If you would be so kind as to join me in the Discord, ladies and gentlemen. I need to get the actual link though first. Join me in the Discord. Wednesday nights we do gaming night, which is basically just we sit around and we play Quiplash or we play any of the Jackbox Party games, and we are moving on to and graduating into other such interesting, fun multiplayer games. We'll sort out the minute details about that in the near future. But we have plans to play other games. It's not just going to be Jackbox Party Pack, although those are still fun. So yeah, if you feel so inclined, join us Wednesdays in the Discord. Undetermined time, because I can't dedicate to a specific time, and it's not every Wednesday. It's just most Wednesdays. Sorry, that's confusing. Anyway, thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being in the chat. Thank you for communicating with us. Thank you for donating, and thank you for donating to Polly as well, because he needs it to upgrade his potato to a rutabaga.
To a rutabaga.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you very much for the donation. It's greatly appreciated as always, and we will see you next week back here.
Yes.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Bye.
Have a good night, everyone.
Night. End the podcast and